Alrighty.
Did you
I'm
guys see
hyped.
my
This is our
text, by the
first.
way?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'm okay with that personally.
All right, perfect.
Santor, is your
Dude,
camera working?
yeah, can you not see me?
Oh, wait. Maybe it's on my end. Hang on.
I was gonna say I can see him fine. Um,
Um, dude, the new are we live?
yeah, we're live.
The new Red Bull livery. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna pull it up quick.
Um, to keep it PG, it looks very, very nice.
So V
Very
carb.
like and so does the V carb too, but like the Oracle Red Bull like primary livery is
Yeah,
just
the issue I have with the V carb livery, as you can see now, it looks way too similar to the original. I like the Ford Racing, I like the back, but the front looks exactly the same. Like, I mean, to a T, exactly the same. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, they look good. Like, they don't look any worse than last year. They could have done more with it. I do like that they're one of
I,
the only white teams, though.
yeah.
But yeah, let me look. Let me pull up Red Bull Racing. They have a new car
Red Bull
lineup.
Racing looks so nice.
I know it does look so good. Let me pull it up real quick. Red Bull 2026 livery. I mean, it is a gorgeous car. Like, absolutely. I like the faded blue.
The
I like that it's a
shine,
lighter blue. Let me. Oh,
the
I didn't. I
shine.
just realized I'm not sharing screen.
It's okay. I had to pull it up for myself to see anyway. So.
Here.
It looks so nice. It looks so
It
nice.
really does. I love it. Now, the issue that I have with the new cars and what they look like is I don't like these fins right here. I think they look so stupid on from the top down view, but I mean, we'll see what happens. But I mean, the lighter blue, they went back to their old Red Bull logo on the front wing. They've got, and I like how Ford didn't completely, like when I heard Ford was taking over their powertrain stuff, I thought, oh great, there's going to be Ford in big giant letters everywhere, but they did it very subtly.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, it is a gorgeous car. I like the black rims. I mean, it's, yeah. But cool. All right. Anyway. Stop. How do I stop sharing screen? There we go. Cool. Okay, so let us talk a little bit about the driver lineup. Santoro, I saw a little something of another group of podcasters do this. They rated each driver lineup on a scale of 1 to 10. I figured. Yeah, I figured we might as well give that a shot. Harak, you can ask any questions that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we start with the two newcomer teams? One of them is not really a newcomer, but do we start with the newcomer team of Cadillac Andretti Formula One team?
So am I just rating 1 through 10 in terms of what? Just overall?
Like scale on 1 to 10, how well you think the drivers are, and how well you think they're going to do this year?
So are we starting Cadillac?
Yes, we might as well start with a team that has never scored a point in Formula One.
Well, you know what? This might sound kind of crazy. I feel like, and we're talking not car, but drivers.
Yeah, start with drivers, and then we can talk about like how well we think the team is going to do.
Honestly, I gotta say, like 7.5. Like I don't hate it at all. And I was tempted to say 8, but I don't want to go that far just because they had a year off. But like they bring in so much experience. So it's like you're gonna have guys who know what they're doing.
Exactly.
So and that's the perfect formula for a brand new team that's coming in. I feel like that's the best way to do it. You have a new team with experienced drivers.
Hi, Melissa.
Thank you.
Hi.
We're live.
I have the exact same thought on the level of I think Cadillac isn't going for a world title this year. I don't even think they're going to be. They're going to look for points finishes. Obviously, every team is. I don't know if wins and podiums are on the horizon. However, I think the reason they went with two experienced older drivers is because they're looking for people that can tell them, hey, being someone that was in Formula One for years, almost decades for both of them, this is what we should change, so that way in the next 2-3 years they can bring someone in that has an insane talent, like what Mercedes did with Kimi Antonelli. They want to bring someone in with insane talent after their car is already ready, and that can take it to the next level. I think this year they're just going to be fighting for points finishes. I think if they did have an extra 2 years on the rest of the Formula One field to develop a car for these regulations, so they may have cracked the code, they might not have. They've got a Ferrari engine, which I'm kind of worried about, but I think they'll be a very good midfield team. I think Valtteri Bottas and Checo Perez are both proven race winners. They are the two best second driver teammates to two of the best drivers on the grid with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Both of them have beaten both drivers at one point or another. So I think they've got great experience. They will be getting points. I see them finishing out of the 11 teams. I don't see them finishing any lower than 7th.
Yeah, I agree.
What team would you like to do next?
Well, let's do
Reverse
how about
order of
Audi?
standings? Or
How about Audi?
Audi. All right, so Audi, for those of you that don't know that are in our chat, and for Harak, was the Kick Sauber, which is the car that I'm driving in our 4-player career. They are becoming the multi-billion-dollar company Audi Formula One team. Here's where I stand. Their driver lineup, I would put as an 8 out of 10. Their weak link, despite getting a podium this past year, Nico Hülkenberg. He has been in this sport way too long and been in podium contending cars for way too long to only have one podium in his 13 or 14 years of racing. Bortoleto has proven that he can compete with some more experienced drivers. I think he's not exactly there yet, but he was a rookie last year, so we have to give him some grace there. So I'm looking at it on the level of they've got a very experienced driver that can lead them into the new regulation saying, hey, this is the direction we should be going towards, and a rookie with immense talent that can just handle any car that they're given. And with the fact that Audi is a separate entity from Kick Sauber, they have had a full extra year of preparing for this year, or of preparing for the new regulations, than every other team on the grid except Cadillac. Plus, they're a multi-billion-dollar company that have conquered literally every other form of motorsport. I think they will be fighting for podiums. I don't know if their driver lineup will let them fight for the constructors. That's my only issue with Audi right now is their driver lineup.
I would agree with that. Drivers, I'm not entirely impressed by.
Yeah.
Like I'll give them like a 5 at best. That's literally the highest that I can go. And the only reason I'm giving a 5 is because Bortoleto's not horrible and he'll get better with experience. But like Hulkenberg, he'll be floating around like, P9 through P12 most of the year, unless the car is like that good. So like I just can't give them any higher than a 5. But like you'd have to think Audi's gonna take it up a notch. So like they'll probably be a little better than Kick was. I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. Like it wouldn't surprise me to see Audi finish like top 7 in constructors.
Yeah, exactly.
Like anywhere between like 5 and 7. Like that wouldn't surprise me. So
I
yeah.
would like
How
to,
about-
once the Super Bowl is over, I believe it'll have been right after or during testing. So when the Super Bowl is over, I would like to do a thing where we predict the Constructors Championship and the Drivers Championship.
Absolutely.
But we won't do that now because that'll take hours. Moving on, I'd like to go with Alpine because they were one of the worst teams on the grid this past year, and they are sticking with their driver lineup of Pierre Gasly, which I agree with, and Franco Colapinto, which I do not agree with. I give this driver lineup a 5. I'm
surprised you're putting it that high.
Well, and see, this is unfortunately where you've been watching for a year. I've been watching since 2021. I know what Gasly can do, and I've seen what he can do when he is in a midfield contending car. And Alpine, while I hate Flavio Briatore, who is their current team principal, He said that they gave up on 2025 by August, and they were devoting all of their energy and resources into 2026.
That's fair.
Do I trust
It's
him?
kind of smart.
No. Do I think that that's what they did? Sure. I don't know if it'll work out, but Franco Colapinto, sorry, does not deserve to be an F1. I fully believe they should have brought in Teo Pourchaire from F2, but that's my opinion. I think they will be finishing last again this coming year.
I was gonna give him a 3, so that's where I put him.
You pick the next team.
Let's go with trying to get all the bottom feeders out of the way, if you will.
Yeah.
Let's go with Haas. Let's go with Haas next.
Okay.
Let's see. What would I rank them out of 10?
Ocon and Behrman.
Yeah, I mean, Behrman had a really good rookie season. I don't know. I feel like I could give him a 5.5. I feel like that's like, I don't hate the driver lineup.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I hate the car is what I hate.
Yeah.
Like, if they had a better constructor, I feel like they could do better, especially Behrman. I think Behrman's going to continue to improve. Like, I would not be surprised if he finishes, on the year P7-ish. Like, that wouldn't surprise me. But then again, there's 2 other drivers on the grid, so like,
I think I look at that. I would agree with the 5.5. I might give them a 6.5 because I think they're in a very similar situation with Audi, where they've got their experienced driver and they've got their insanely talented rookie. Ocon was just another face in the crowd. Like, you never heard anything about him. He rarely finished in the points, but he wasn't so far in the back that he was talked about. Behrman, on the other hand, he was, I look at Mexico City. He was running 4th and almost got a podium.
Yeah, that was, and his qualifying times were insane.
Yes, he was insanely good in qualifying. He was consistent in the race. The only issue that I run into with Behrman, he crashed so many times in practices. For the first 4 races of the season, the running joke was there are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Behrman crashing in free practice. So I do worry about that, especially with new regulations. The teams are going to be desperate to get as much data as they can, especially a smaller, poor team like Haas.
That's a fair concern I have, actually, with the new regulations.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see them finishing 10th or 9th above Alpine for sure. But they will not do well. And it really has nothing to do with their drivers. I think they just don't have a good enough team behind them.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Who should we pick on next? How about Aston Martin?
That's an interesting one.
So they are another team that is sticking with their exact same driver lineup of the old man himself, Fernando Alonso, and Daddy's money boy, Lance Stroll. I give that driver lineup a 4 out of 10. Lance Stroll should not be in Formula One. The only reason he is because Lawrence Stroll is the owner of Aston Martin. Fernando Alonso is still decent, but much like Hamilton, I think as he gets older, he no longer has the talent. Not the talent. He has the experience. He has, the decision making skills. He's another face in the crowd. And this will be the 3rd year in a row, I believe, where Aston Martin has made such big promises of how good they're going to be, and then they fall to the bottom 4 in the table. So I don't see them making any names or anything like that.
Yeah. I don't trust Stroll at all. So I would agree with 4. I was originally going to say 4.5, but that's heavily carried by Alonso. So yeah, we're roughly the same there.
Yeah.
How about V-Carb?
Ooh. Okay, you can start.
I actually like the rookie that's coming up. Remind me of his name again?
Arvin Lindblad.
Yes, Lindblad. Yeah, I actually like him. Once I heard that he was being called up, I read a little bit about him and what he's accomplished. And I could just see him being successful in the sport.
Yep.
I can just see it already. In the future, he's going to be one of those mainstay drivers who like is very consistent. In terms of his rookie year, who knows? I mean, he's the only rookie this year, right?
He is.
So
I think the past 2 years have been insanely phenomenal for talent wise for the crop of rookies. I'm looking at minus the Alpine rookies and Doohan and Colapinto. That could have been the car. I will give them the benefit of the doubt. That could have been the car. However, you look at Behrman, Bortoleto. You look at Hadjar. I know they considered Liam Lawson a rookie. I don't, because he did do the last like 5 or 6 races of the 2024 season, but he's somewhat consistent. Kimi Antonelli is the number 1 scoring rookie in all of F1. And yes, it does have to do with some point changes over the past 10 to 15 years, but he's still an insanely talented driver. And now Arvin Lindblad, the speed that his career has taken off, he is an immensely talented driver. I think some of the best rookies that have joined in F1 have come from this year and last year. I do think VCarb is a perfect fit for Lindblad. He's got a semi-experienced driver next to him that's still young and talented in Liam Lawson. So I think VCarb could want to be one of those sneaky teams that you'll find fighting for podiums this year.
I could see them being like this year's Williams was. Absolutely.
Agreed. And I think Lindblad coming into new regulations, everybody is getting used to this car. It's not like last year's rookies where every other driver has had 4 years of experience with this regulation of car, the ground effect era. He's coming into a completely new set of regulations, as is every other driver around him. So I think that does give him a slight advantage compared to last year's rookies. But I do think I would rate their lineup a 6 out of 10. I think I see them fighting for like top 5 in the constructors.
Yeah, I would agree with 6.
Yeah,
that's about where I would put them.
Yeah. Moving on.
So we've got just a couple left, right?
Yeah. Let me see. We've talked about Cadillac, Audi, Haas, Alpine, Aston Martin, VCarb. There's 5 more, which are McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes. Oh my gosh, who am I missing? Wait, VCarb, Cadillac, Audi, Alpine, Haas, Aston Martin. Yeah, there's 5 more. Who am I missing? Williams, thank you. Oh, I cannot wait to talk about Williams. Let us start off. Who would you like to go to next?
Well, I want to save the big names for last. So let's do Williams next. Okay. So
Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon. Wow. Williams last year. 2023, I think they were last or 9th in the constructor standings. I don't remember what they came in 2025. However, you go from being dead last to Carlos Sainz gets 2 podiums with Williams. James Vowles, the team principal, is a mastermind. He is a genius. He was there when Mercedes won 8 constructor titles. He is now taking that information and bringing it to Williams, which was a bottom feeder of a team, like worse than Alpine, worse than Sauber, and is now bringing them to fighting for podiums. I see them finishing top 3 in constructors this year. There's no doubt in my mind. Wow. Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon, I would rate driver pairing as an 8.5 out of 10. Carlos Sainz, race winner. Alex Albon, podium driver. They're both immensely talented. They're both still young compared to a lot of drivers on the grid. And James Vowles is a mastermind at directing a team.
I'm going to go 7.5. I think they're very comparable to Cadillac's drivers this year, just younger, obviously.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You can disagree with that, but I feel like in terms of skill level, I feel like they're around the same-ish. Yeah. But, the Cadillac drivers have had a year off, so, there's that too.
Exactly. Moving on, so what we've got: Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren. Which one do we want? I want to save McLaren for last, since they were last year's constructors.
Yeah, that's fair. How about Ferrari?
Okay. Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion. Charles,
You might be surprised at my rating, by the way. You may be surprised.
I know what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why. I cannot give
We may
it any
disagree.
higher. Huh?
I said we're probably going to disagree, but go ahead.
I cannot give it any higher than a 7.5. I think Charles Leclerc is an immensely
Wow.
talented driver. Lewis Hamilton is bringing that team down. I'm sorry. For those of you that are saying it's just a car and it's a new team, bull. Because the last 2 years he spent at Mercedes, he was worse than his infinitely younger teammate, George Russell. You cannot be worse than someone that has won maybe 1 or 2 races as a 7-time world champion, goes to Ferrari, and is being destroyed by his teammate who's half his age, not actually, but still, and then say, oh, it's just the car, it's just the car. No, 3 years in a row now, he's been beaten by a younger teammate that has not won any world titles in equal machinery. He was an amazing driver, if not the best driver Formula One has seen in terms of pure stats. He's not that anymore, and the F1 world needs to get over themselves and realize that. He is bringing Ferrari down.
Were you at 7.5, you said? So we don't entirely disagree. I was going to say 8.
Yep.
I was going to say 8, largely driven by Charles Leclerc. However, if Lewis Hamilton, if he returns to form, it's a big if capital letters, that goes up to a 9.
Agreed.
But judging by Hamilton's year this year, I have to say 8. But Charles Leclerc fighting for podiums this year for sure. Yep. I don't see how he wouldn't.
Yeah, I see Ferrari being 4th or 5th. I think their car, they may be delayed for testing. They may not even make the first 2 days. They said their engine is having problems already, and the season hasn't even started. And then Hamilton, I think, is not the driver he used to be. I have gotten into serious fights on Instagram and TikTok over the Lewis Hamilton thing, and I will die on this hill that he is still a good driver. He is fading. His time is done. He needs to retire within the next 2 years. Same with Alonso.
Okay. Better driver this season, Fernando Alonso or Lewis Hamilton?
Alonso, hands down. He doesn't whine and moan like Hamilton does.
But also, Alonso is still driving at an elite level.
Yeah.
Like this year, I thought he drove really well for how his car was performing.
In a trash can. That Aston Martin is the same color as the waste management garbage truck that drives around. Probably the same speed around an F1 circuit. And Alonso's still scoring points. But anyway, moving on. Do you want to do Mercedes or Red Bull?
Mercedes.
Okay.
Mercedes.
Take it away. I mean, you were an Antonelli fan for a little bit.
This is still my favorite young driver, but you're right. I'm more of a Max fan now. But I still love Antonelli. And right now they're gonna get my highest score out of anyone. I'm gonna give him an 8.5. And here's why 8.5, because Russell, he had a pretty good year this year. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like he's in his prime.
It was his best in Formula One ever.
And his prime, I'll tell you what, like, I know he's not always fighting for podiums, but that man rarely ever falls lower than P5 or P6.
Yep.
Like, he is so consistent. And Antonelli just is such a talented driver that I could see him scoring even more points this year. So, Mercedes is absolutely in the constructors' talk this year, in my opinion, because of Russell's experience, how good he has been recently, and Antonelli's only going to get better. I mean, there were tons of races towards the middle and end of the season where both of them were finishing top 6.
Yep.
So it's like, I mean, it's just an elite lineup, and it is still one of the higher end cars on the grid.
Agreed.
So.
And I don't know if you saw the news, but Red Bull and Mercedes, which Red Bull has Red Bull and VCarb, and Mercedes and McLaren are using their engines, have found that loophole where there's a certain width that the engine has to be, certain parts of the engine has to be, and the FIA can only measure that when it's out of the engine and not running and cooled off. But the material they used expands when it's heated. So while it's running in the car, they said it could give them an extra 15 horsepower, an extra 0.3 a lap. If that's true, great. If it's just a scare tactic, whatever. However, I would rate them a 9. Reason being, Kimi Antonelli is the only rookie to get a pole in sprint or Grand Prix qualifying. And he was the first rookie out of the 2 that did it this year to get a podium in Canada. He is the next Verstappen, and you cannot change my mind. The amount of talent that man has in his pinky is more than than Colapinto and Doohan have combined. George Russell is Mr. Consistent himself. You said it yourself. He rarely falls below P6. He will do nothing. He drives such a good, consistent race. You will find him in 4th, anywhere from 6th to 3rd. I mean, we saw him on the podium a bunch of times this year because he just drove a good, consistent race. If Mercedes is going to be fighting for the constructors, which I fear they will, they have a very good shot at getting either Antonelli or Russell a driver's championship in the next 2 or 3 years.
Bro, what are you guys doing without me here?
It's the podcast.
We're live, Noah.
Yes?
Welcome to the podcast, Noah.
I thought you guys were on F1 without me.
No.
I thought that tomorrow.
No, we're going live now because we've got some playoff games tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Stream sniped.
Bye.
See ya.
Surprise
He better,
cameo from
he
a game
better
event.
log on and watch the podcast immediately after
If I
that.
don't see the viewer count jump up, I'm going to be pissed.
I know.
Shall we move on to Red Bull?
We're gonna lose views for that, bro.
You see, like, all 4 people log off
Yeah,
right now.
like the 7 people that are watching. Like Katie, turn it off. That's how.
Damn. All right, so moving on to Red Bull, because I would like to get to
Okay.
football.
Red Bull. Honestly, I do love Hadjar. Like, he's gonna be way better than Tsunoda.
Only other rookie this year to get a podium.
I have to give Red Bull. I got to give it a 9 for sure. Like, Max is Max.
Oh my god.
Hadjar is going to be better than Tsunoda. I think Red Bull is headed in the right direction. I think they'll have a better vehicle this year than they did last year. At least that's what I think. I mean, last year, first half of the year, their vehicle was not good.
No.
And then they made some upgrades, and Max, clawed his way back. But I have to go with 9. Max is Max, and Hadjar's a clear upgrade to Tsunoda. So in my
Yes.
mind, it's a no-brainer to have them at 9.
I would agree with that. I think 9 is what I will give them. I would give them a 9.5 if this wasn't Hadjar's second year and it was just like his 3rd or 4th, because Verstappen is a 10. It doesn't matter what car you put him in, he'll fight for wins.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Hadjar, I mean, it's the curse of the second Red Bull seat. We'll see if it's true or not. If that car drives as good as it looks, they're going to win the constructors. I think Max will always be in a driver title fight from here until he retires or until Red Bull becomes a bottom table team. I would agree with the 9. I think that's a very good place to put them. I think Max is a 10. I would put Hadjar as like a 7.5 because he's still young, he's still inexperienced, he still does make rookie mistakes. But I would agree. I think 9 is a good place to put them. I don't think they will be fighting for constructors because of Hadjar, not because he's a bad driver, but because he's still young.
Yeah.
And there's too many other, Mercedes and McLaren, they've got great drivers, great cars.
I could really see Mercedes winning it. The constructors.
I'm very worried about that as a McLaren fan.
And then last but not least, to wrap it up with McLaren, if I'm going solely on drivers, 9.5. If I'm including team management skills, 7. Because, team management, this is literally, me being a new F1 fan since last summer, joining mid-season. I could not root for McLaren, not because of their drivers. I actually am fine with their drivers. They have elite drivers. Team management is so dog water that it just pained me to watch. It was like watching Kevin Patullo's offense on the Eagles. It was abysmal.
That's such a good comparison. The Eagles and McLaren. They've got the star players and drivers, perfect to win a Super Bowl and win the drivers and constructors. Their coaching / their team strategy, dog water. I hate being a McLaren fan, even though they've won the Constructors the past 2 years, because every race I'm like, okay, you have two drivers' title contending drivers. And yet I could see them both finishing in the bottom 10 because of your strategy calling. I will say driver lineup, I would give them a 9.5. And honestly, I think I would pin both of their drivers individually at a 9.5. I think Lando, halfway through last year, I would have said an 8.5. As a Lando Norris fan, I will concede he was not great. He still got in his head. He listened to what everybody on social media was saying, got into his head, and made stupid mistakes. Then as he realized he was actually in the title fight, he wisened up. Now he's not taking everything to heart. He's working on himself. And, I mean, the last 9 races, he was one of the best drivers I've ever seen. Oscar Piastri is a phenomenal talent. I think he and Lando are equal on talent, but Lando has him in experience, and that's the reason why Lando won the drivers, and why I think they will both... I think the driver's title will come down to the last 3 races, and call me crazy, it'll be between Leclerc, Russell, Verstappen, Piastri, and Norris. I could even see Antonelli in there.
I was just going to say, let's name our top 5 drivers. And if I were to go in order of top 5, like best to, worst, just for the top 5, Max is 1. And I'm not even talking about like potential to win the drivers championship. I'm just talking pure talent.
Yeah.
Max, followed by Lando.
Agreed.
Followed by, I'm going to say Leclerc.
Agreed.
And then I would put Russell by a hair, and then Piastri. I think that's where I would.
In my opinion, Russell and Piastri are interchangeable depending on the track.
Yeah.
And depending on the circumstances. But yeah, I would agree with that. I think we will see a 5-way battle for the Drivers' Championship well into the season. But yeah, all right. Shall we move on to football? What everybody has been waiting for.
And I would like to start with a recap from last week's games, and then we can get into our predictions for just tomorrow's games, because the plan is still to go live Sunday morning. Yes, at 11.
Possibly. I think so. I think. I'm good for that.
Okay, so
I'll be later than 11, but you guys can start, and
that's fine.
I get on doing late.
That's fine.
You hear that?
I just want to
Sunday at 11 a.m. Be there.
Sunday at 11. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's go over the games that we didn't have really. Let's start with the one that is going to take the least amount of time to talk about, and that is the Patriots Chargers. That game was not fun to watch.
It wasn't fun to play for Herbert.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought the Chargers were going to do better, but clearly not having the offensive line mattered. And that's what I was talking about, and yet I picked the Chargers for some reason.
It does go to show for how little that O linemen and D linemen are talked about. It shows just how important they are. You've got a powerhouse team in the Los Angeles Chargers. They have great offensive weapons. They have a great quarterback, and they have a decent defense. And their O-line is what lost them the game to the somewhat fraud Patriots.
I mean, all I have to say is
frauds.
New England
all year, but
yeah. I mean, New England moves on. They played a good game, but I mean, I have to say, I don't know. Drake May struggled a little bit against that defense, and we'll preview this. We'll preview this matchup later. But the Texans' defense is going to be a much taller task, so we'll see about that. But I think mainly with these games, I want to focus on what does the future look like for the team that got booted? Like, what's their outlook, right? Because we'll talk about the Patriots in the coming weeks, I'm sure. But for the Chargers, this is probably one of the last times we'll mention them this season. So it's like, where do they go from here? Justin Herbert, we've been talking all year about how elite he is, but to put 3 points up, he plays his worst games in the postseason, and that's just the stat. Like every postseason game he's been in, he's just not good. to put up 3 points against the
We should
Patriots.
stop using the term elite for quarterbacks right now. There's no elite quarterbacks left in these playoffs.
Well, Josh Allen.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But-
you can't say Josh
that's
Allen is
the only
not
one.
an elite.
That's the only
he
one.
is the quarterback.
Maybe you include Stafford, but he's not even in my book elite.
I will say, if Stafford
Because-
wins another ring, he's probably a Hall of Fame player if he wins another ring.
I mean,
I
Hall
will-
of Fame doesn't mean elite, though. That's the thing. My quarterback, Big Ben, he's gonna be a first ballot, but he ain't considered elite.
My thoughts on this game, and then moving. I think the Chargers moving forward, they know what their weakness is, and I get that a lot of it was due to injuries, but this shows how much you need backup O linemen. They are going to be very late in the first round of the draft and very early in the second round of the draft. If they do not go with O linemen for at least one of those picks, because they will be open because everyone's going to go for quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, stuff like that. If one of their first 2 picks is not an offensive lineman, they need to fire their GM.
Well, they're going to assume, though, that their guys are going to come back healthy.
It
That's
doesn't
the
matter,
thing.
though. If
Right,
they get
that's-
injured, they
that's
need
what I would think.
backups. Like Chris Lindstrom got
Well,
injured
yeah,
for
but
2
you're not
games
gonna-
for the Falcons.
You're not going to waste a first-round pick, though,
Yeah.
on a backup.
On a
You know,
backup,
like,
Look at Joe, what does that say?
lineman.
Look at Joe Flacco, not elite. I would agree with that. I would agree
Wait,
Joe
who's-
Flacco is not elite. Katie.
Oh,
I second that.
that's funny.
I'll drink to that. And then just talking about the game in itself. Look at the score. Less than 20 points between the two of them. 16 points
Neither
by the
offense looked
Patriots.
good.
No, and the Chargers defense, while it is good, is not the best defense in the AFC, much less
Right.
the playoffs. And the
Oh, yes.
Patriots could only
Yeah.
put up 16 points. They're about to go play arguably one of the best defenses in playoffs. I do
The
not
best
see them.
defense in the NFL.
That is true. Texans, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're the number 1 ranked defense.
I think this week is going to expose them for what they are. They're a great team, but not the best. If the Chargers had an offensive line, I think Herbert would be putting up some big numbers, and they might have moved on. But sucks to suck.
I mean, so the Chargers, if you guys didn't know, they fired their offensive coordinator.
As they should.
And so what does the future look like for them? I mean, offensively, they have weapons. It's not a lack of weapons. You know, they claim that it's a lack of coaching. But, you know, I mean, also, you don't have an offensive line. So it's like, how can you really gauge? Again, Justin Herbert was the most sacked QB all year.
Yep.
So it's like, how can you, like, you can watch film all you want, but it's like, if these guys aren't making blocks for you, it's like you can't even really necessarily judge Herbert's performance. I mean, because he had no help up
Yep.
front. What does the future look like? Well, if the Chargers O-line gets healthy, it looks good offensively. I mean, defensively, they seem sound. So, like, is this a playoff team next year? In my mind, it probably is. It's probably another wild card team.
Yep.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
What do you think, Andrew, about like
I think-
Chargers?
I think if they get their pieces together on their offensive line, and actually protect their quarterback, I actually think they could have a shot at winning the division. Because you
think
look
so
at the
too.
state,
Yeah.
you look at the state of their division. I mean, you have the Broncos up there. Everyone who's all 5 people that have watched our stream the last 5 weeks, they all know how we feel about the Broncos. Just like the Patriots, we think they're a bunch of frauds. But I guess we'll find out. But for now, I think we still kind of share that thought. I think that the Chargers have a better roster than the Broncos as far as skill set. And if they are able to protect their quarterback so that their quarterback can get the ball to their skilled players, I think that they have a very good chance at winning the division next year and following years. I just don't see – because their defense is great. I mean, you saw that they held their own against the Patriots, who are nothing special, but – for all the hype surrounding the Patriots right now, they definitely brought their game.
6 sacks is
They're
insane.
not that
Yeah.
poorly ranked as a defense. They're top 10, maybe even top 5 total.
Yeah.
Herbert sacked 6 times, by the way, this weekend. That's not sustainable.
My thing.
You guys are coming to the offensive line. It's like
Yeah.
that's their biggest problem. If they don't fix that, then they're doomed next year. You know.
Yeah.
Look at the QB rating.
You guys know.
QB rating is 75, and that is with losing 40 yards because of 6 sacks. Having a QB rating, I'll say above 65 while having 6 sacks and losing over 35 yards is incredible. I think Andrew Harak said it. If they can get the pieces together to get their O-line, whether it's their original O-line stays healthy or they pick up new pieces or whatever, it doesn't matter if their defense is good and not great if their offense is putting up 40 points a game, which they will do. So
Drake May,
That's just the state of the NFL right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
To be honest with you, like you don't need a top 5 defense to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
As a Steelers fan, I firmly believe in great defense, but even the time has come, as I'm sure we'll mention later, that you no longer need your defensive mind to win games in the NFL. So have a good defense. You don't need a great defense. All you have to do is score points in today's football. Like that's all it is.
I will also point out Drake May compared to Herbert didn't necessarily have the best game either.
Nope.
And again, he took 5 sacks to the Chargers. How many is he going to take against Houston? I mean, their defensive line is insane. So, I mean, that'll be a tough game for them. But May's turning the ball over. He threw a pick. He fumbled twice. I mean, he didn't play a clean game either. So, very interesting.
That's one of the Patriots' biggest problems this year is turnovers. They do fumble a lot.
They do, and their running backs fumble a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. That's partly the reason they've been starting their rookie as the running back, because who's their starter at the beginning of the year?
Stevenson.
I can't think of his name.
Stevenson.
I think.
But he's getting a lot more of the workload, because he's the veteran right now in the postseason.
Sure,
but yeah, you're right.
I can tell you that teams are going to single him out when he touches the ball. They're going to be punching at the ball every single time they're trying to tackle.
Absolutely.
And if they can't get a running game going because of him fumbling the ball, or their rookie can't get it going, they're going to have a rough time throwing with Drake May.
Yeah. Agreed.
Right. So I want to move to another one. I am going to eat my words.
Oh yeah, I gotta write down what our records are now from predictions.
So I did the
I'll
math.
tell you what, we had a pretty crappy week, all of us. Really.
I was 1-5, and you guys were 2-4. So absolute abysmal outing from us.
That's okay.
Last
It's
week.
okay.
I thought you lost 2 points though at that atrocious.
No,
job.
we never agreed to that.
He'd be in the hole.
But I'll tell you what, though, it was a fun game to watch. Like it was very back and forth. I still think Jacksonville played a good game, but Josh Allen does it. Like he is that team.
Look at his
QB rating. Look at his QB rating.
Yeah. This is the point that I made last week, and Santoro, I don't want to say you laughed at me, but you did kind of shrug it off when I said Josh Allen in the playoffs is Superman. It does not matter if you put a bunch of 4th graders as his offensive linemen, running back, receivers. He will win the game. And without the Chiefs in playoffs, which is Superman's kryptonite, I don't see them doing anything less than the Super Bowl.
Here's my thing with the Bills. Like, I agree with you in that if Josh Allen is on, like, he's unstoppable. But he's had games this year where he's fallen incredibly short. I mean, look at that Falcons game. I'm just saying, like, certain weeks he doesn't play that well. So it's like, yes, he's an elite quarterback. He's amazing. He had a great game. But I just worry for if there is one game in the postseason that he has, one of those lackluster games, because it does happen once in a while. Yeah, they're done because their offense is.
They have no one other than him. They have no one. Like Cook was okay.
Yeah, Cook actually, only 46 rushing yards. I will say Trevor Lawrence played a pretty bad game.
Yeah,
2 interceptions.
that surprised me.
Yeah,
I do think without even one of those turnovers, if you don't do one of those turnovers, I do think Jacksonville wins that game. However, that is what the Bills do. They take advantage of other teams' mistakes. They can't win off of their own merit. They just can't. They are good at capitalizing on other teams' mistakes. I mean, look at a lot of their wins this year. It's by 1 score, 2 scores or less because of another team's turnover.
Who were you referring to there?
The Bills. Sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say because Jacksonville's had a lot of blowouts this year.
No, the Bills barely win, and when they do, it's usually because the other team made a couple of turnovers, which testament to their defense. But you can't rely solely on other teams' mistakes when you go up against teams that don't make mistakes.
Jaguars had more offensive yards. They had more rushing yards. Really, they won the rushing game.
Yep.
Other than that, though, it was pretty even. Overall, pretty even
Agreed.
game. It's just the Jaguars had one extra turnover, and that's pretty much what sealed the deal. They lost the turnover battle.
Yep.
But so just to wrap up this game real quick, what's next for Jacksonville? Dude, I think their future's bright with Liam Cohen, and I see them competing for another division title next year. Will they win it? I don't know. I think it's between them and Houston probably, but they're gonna remain competitive with Liam Cohen because he's just such a good offensive mind.
Yep.
So.
Yep. What'd you guys think of the uproar over that reporter in his press conference? Did you guys see that at all?
No.
About the
No. In Liam Cohen's press conference after the game,
hold your head up.
I don't know if you saw, but there was one reporter, this lady that she didn't even ask a question. She just literally complimented him endlessly on the success and encouraged him to keep his head up and this is a great season, keep up the good work.
I didn't hate it.
And there's other members of the media and fans and other groups of people just absolutely bashing her and him for having that exchange.
That's horrible.
They took a team that would barely make playoffs into leading their division and almost beating the Buffalo Bills. You can't bash a reporter for being like, hey, good job.
This is the most successful Jaguars team since Blake Bortles in 2017.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So I'm just saying, you took
the playoffs that year. I don't know.
You took a team that had 13 losses last year and gave them 13 wins this year.
Yeah.
So it's and they have such a bright future.
A complete 180.
Yeah, and their defense.
Oh my
defense
gosh.
is great. Their wide receivers. Parker Washington
Absolutely.
is crazy good.
Well, that half their receiver room's injured, so they're even getting guys back to start.
Travis Hunter, they're getting back next year. They lost him halfway through the year.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, their future is bright. They, it's gonna be kind of scary when the Jaguars are a top team in the AFC.
Yeah, I could see them being that for sure. Moving on to the next wild card game that we're going to talk about, which is, let's go to Texans Steelers. Just because, there's a lot of news with that.
I'm sorry, Andrew.
Head coach stuff. Hey, it's fine. I'm gonna take the L next. Don't worry. But I just want to talk about this because at halftime it was competitive. The score was 7-6.
Yes.
I actually thought this was going to be a close game down to the end. And then second half, Steelers offense disappears, and Houston's defense, we all knew it was good. I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be a little better against a good defense like that, especially at home, considering his playoff experience.
Yep.
But that second half was brutal.
So the thing, schematically, and I'm not an NFL head coach, but I can sit here and be a an armchair coach for any football team. But from the knowledge of the season and how that played out, I was not shocked it was that low scoring. I was not shocked that we only scored 2 field goals in one half. That's just how our games have gone all year. And as for the second half getting out of control, it's a schematic issue where they had no game plan and no adjustments and no plan of attack other than what they were trying to accomplish previously in the first half. And you saw that with a lot of games this year where Pittsburgh was close, and then the second half, especially their losses that they had this year, they just kind of they couldn't get it done. I don't know, either they didn't make any changes or they didn't utilize personnel properly to give matchup problems. And ultimately the Texans defense just took over. I mean, that's all it was. I don't think the Steelers had a plan for their defense as well as they should have at all. One thing the Steelers didn't do is attack the middle of the field. I mean,
Luna.
I don't understand that at all. But I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty of game plan and coaching strategies because again, I'm not a coach. But every time I see a swing pass to a running back or a 3-yard slant or a 3-yard out route at the numbers, at least the slant route would have been in the middle of the field. But I don't know if you could see this in the I watched some all 22 footage of it, but the Texans were basically daring Pittsburgh to utilize the middle of the field and run the ball. And they didn't do that. They had huge success running the ball in the beginning, and that's why the game was so close. They could chunk their way down the field by running it and getting some yards and passing it when they had to. But they just refused to use the middle of the field, and they refused to run the ball just because they got a negative play or a short yardage play. And that was their downfall because then the defense just teed off on the passing plays that Pittsburgh tried to run.
I think, and my takeaway, I didn't watch the whole game. I watched part of it, and then I watched the highlights. It looked to me as if you had the best defense in the league going up against an offense that was, I will refrain from using the term elite. You had an offense that had the capabilities of punching over the best defense, and you had a very low-scoring game, and then in my opinion, yes, there was a lot of bad play calling, and the middle of the field was very much empty for the Pittsburgh offense. Oh.
Their offensive coordinator is your favorite coach ever.
I don't want to talk about Arthur Smith. He can leave NFL forever for all I care.
Hey, I'm with you. Actually, the funny thing about that is that Pittsburgh is not retaining any of their coaching staff right now.
Good. I think you guys need a
unless the new coach that they bring in, whoever that may be, unless they decide they want to re-sign them and bring them on. But I think the Rooneys have basically put out a memo saying that, hey, find another job if you want to because you're not guaranteed to come back.
And my
That's
thing
for
with
every single coordinator, offense, defense, special teams, quarterback coach, linebacker, whatever. So they're cleaning house in Pittsburgh, which is
that's good for Pittsburgh.
A crazy sight.
I think, continuing on with the game, I think the Texans realized what they had on offense in the second half, which is not going to fly for the rest of the playoffs, but it did work against a Pittsburgh defense and a Pittsburgh offense that was not great. And when I saw the news that Arthur Smith was going to the Steelers, my first thought was, great, that's another high-powered multiple weapon offense that is going to go in the dumpster for no good reason. As a Falcons fan who last year had a great offense and a great defense, I mean, they had a great secondary, they had a great defensive line, they lacked on linebackers, whatever, but they had an amazing offense at the start of last year, as in 2024 to 2025, they were ranked a top 10 offense. And what did Arthur Smith do? He didn't use any weapon that he had available to him. Kyle Pitts and Drake London were gone.
I'm going to parallel that with you because they're very similar offenses in my mind, the Falcons and the Steelers. The quarterback situation is a little bit rough, but the talent around the quarterbacks on both teams, really, the Falcons and Pittsburgh. You have players. You've got Pitts, who's an amazing talent at tight end, right?
Yep.
You've got Drake London, who's a ridiculous wide receiver one. Now I don't know who your 2s and 3s are on that
Mooney
front,
and McLeod, which were both putting up 100-yard games every once in a while.
okay. Look, I'm a Ray McLeod fan. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah. Ray McLeod. Ray
Ray,
McLeod,
yeah,
and then Darnell Mooney.
Years ago.
And Darnell
yeah,
Mooney's
Mooney-
good.
Oh my
been
god,
good.
they have a great. You can't get me started on this right now. I'll go into a tangent for 2 hours.
No,
You
we
can't.
can. This is good content.
The Falcons have one of the best offenses in the league, and Arthur Smith wasted it. Sorry, I'm done now.
Yeah, again, let me parallel that because look, my guy Pat Fryermuth, man, I love Pat so much, and I just as a Penn State fan too, like he is, again, crazy good talent. He's got the best hands on the team. I mean, you saw there was one play in that game, like the only good pass down the middle of the field in that game, where he caught the ball with like 4 sets of hands on it, and pulled it in for a huge first down to keep the drive alive. And you're telling me that you throw a pass to him in that moment, and he comes up with that ball, and you don't touch him the rest of the game?
Yeah.
Like what kind of offense are you calling if you don't
An Arthur
touch your
Smith
best
offense.
target?
That's like
Right,
Kyle Pitts
and that's the
catching.
point. Like
That's like Kyle
you
Pitts
have-
catching a 40-yard seam, and then you don't go to him the rest of the game.
And that was my thing.
Like,
Last year was the only chance
it's
for the
insane.
Falcons to win the division, and Arthur Smith just decided to pee on it.
It's unbelievable how inept the thing is, it's not even about the play calling. It's about personnel usage and
Personnel,
the
that's his
packages they bring on the
problem,
field. Like you're telling me that you're gonna bring in a 3 tight end set on your offense like 70% of the time, and you're gonna throw to your running backs on that play.
Yep.
And you're going to set up a wide receiver screen and have all your tight ends swing out and try to block for a screen. How about you use the tight ends? You got, like, even without Pat Fryer,
You get 3 good tight ends.
during the season. Okay, this is Pittsburgh's tight end room, just so you know, just to be clear.
Best tight end room in the league, by the way.
Agreed.
Pat Fryermuth, number 1. Number 2,
Jonnu Smith.
maybe not even 2. 2 with maybe a 3, maybe 3 and 2 can be the same level of skill set. But you have Darnell Washington out of Georgia, okay? And
He's a
then
monster.
behind him you have Jonnu Smith, who they traded for with the Minka Fitzpatrick and Jalen Ramsey trade, okay? And then you have Connor Hayward as a fullback, basically playing tight end sometimes. They
Best
have
tight end
4 wide receivers.
Yeah.
Time out. I just had a brainwave. Wasn't Jonnu Smith also on the Falcons at one point when Arthur Smith was their head coach?
Yeah. Well, and see, here's the thing. Jonnu Smith was his favorite. Jonnu Smith was his favorite tight end game plan.
That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. It was him and Pitts. It was him and Pitts. And they went to each other.
Jonnu Smith this year.
Him and Pitts, and they targeted both of them like twice a game. Like,
It's abysmal. Like I mean, I can't be thrilled enough that some teams want to interview Arthur Smith as a head coach or an offensive coordinator.
Dude, the Falcons
Well,
are looking
and
for a new head
offensive-
coach. And I have been checking their story every day. And I said to Courtney, I was like, if I see Arthur Smith on that list, I'm going to drive to Atlanta and kill someone.
I know we're talking about the Falcons because that's your favorite team.
Sorry.
But here's what I'm gonna say. If the Falcons hire Brian Daboll, that's a big head coach. Like, you finally have someone who can function on the offensive side of the ball.
Next year's our year.
and
Next year, we're winning the division.
Let's not go too far.
Hey,
But,
look.
like,
I'm actually glad Pittsburgh lost because I wore this shirt for a reason, okay? Because this shirt is still good for one more year, and until it's not good, I'm gonna keep wearing it. Ready? Look.
hey man, you might need to wear that shirt for a long time. You never
For
know.
like 25 more years. Amen, bro. Amen.
And I guess I'll end with
Wait,
the
somebody
Steelers
read
Texans
Katie's
game.
chat.
Yeah, I know. So
Oh, no.
Katie says the Steelers have not made second half adjustments all year. Agree. she says exactly what I said. Exciting, clean house, absolutely. You need a reset, hard reset.
Yep.
And then she also says, hilarious thing for the AFC North, Harbaugh to Pittsburgh, Tomlin to Cleveland, Stefanski to Baltimore would be hilarious. But news that we haven't
Except for
talked
Harbaugh
about,
already signed
John
with the
Harbaugh to the
Giants.
Giants.
Yep.
Which, by the way, is a great hire for them. I will
Yes.
say that's going to bring stability. But anyways, to end the talk on this game, I just want to show you guys. Look at these. Look at the total offensive yards. Just take a look at that. I mean, that's abysmal.
That's over twice in every
and
category.
That's just. I mean.
Well, listen. This is how every Pittsburgh game
look at the third down percentage for Pittsburgh too.
Awful.
Like that's horrible.
Yeah, because they throw a swing pass to a running back on 3rd and 12 and expect the blocking scheme that they're running with it to be able to block 7 guys pursuing the ball. Like it just doesn't work.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
so I'll end with this outlook for the Steelers' future. I think with the right coaching hire and the right quarterback signing, they could be relevant next year with the right hires. If they make the wrong hires, who knows? I mean, it might be a while. But the AFC is wide open right now for next year.
My thing with the hiring is like they're going to have to out of all the teams that are looking for coaches right now, Pittsburgh is going to have to move the quickest, I think, if they want to salvage anything left of their staff. Because if they're really going to clean house, they're going to have to hire not only a head coach, but then they're going to have to get the offensive and defensive coordinator in there, whoever that is. And I just pray to God that whoever the head coach they bring in decides that they want to hire intelligent-minded coordinators. Like it's abysmal the amount of unintelligence that has been going around Pittsburgh's coaching staff. Like, do you guys know that in Mike Tomlin's 19 – and I love Mike Tomlin. Shout out to Mike Tomlin because I know he called it a career after this game. But, in Mike Tomlin's 19 years of head coaching, the Pittsburgh Steelers, not a single one of his coaches on his coaching staffs of all 19 years has ever been – selected to be any type of coach anywhere else. Mike Tomlin has 0 coaches on a coaching tree. 0. Which is a phenomenal number in all the wrong reasons for a guy like Mike Tomlin.
Absolutely, because that means there was no level of sustained success with those coordinators.
Yeah. Well, it's not even about that. It's just that his decision making with, and I've been a person who's voiced my disapproval with Mike Tomlin's decisions on coaching. I just think that he did not care to find talented coaches. I think he relied too much on the talent of the players, and that's why ultimately they couldn't ever get it done, because if the talent of the players failed, there's no coaching to go along to maximize the talent.
I will also say, in regards to Tomlin, shout out to him because nobody's going to come close to that record anytime soon of never having a losing season.
Yeah.
So there is something to be said about that level of consistency, by the way, in the NFL. You know how hard that is to do. That's crazy.
It just, as a Steelers fan, and I know many, many other Steelers fans out there will also feel me when I say this, is it got stale. I know there's the whole 9-8 joke, contrary to what may be said about that. Mike Tomlin's only gone 9-8 one time, but that's beside the point because every other season had failed after maybe the Killer B era. Even though they didn't win a Super Bowl, at least they won playoff games.
Yep.
And once that era was over, once we lost out on Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, it just went all downhill from there. There was no consistency other than being a one and done in the playoffs.
Katie says Andrew talks and Ethan has horrifying flashbacks.
Dude, you cannot say the word Arthur Smith without me wanting to throw up, actively, into my drink.
So
His mustache
overall,
makes me want to throw.
outlook for the Steelers unknown. However, with the right coaching hire, they could be relevant next year.
They have all the pieces, dude. Like we want to talk about future. If they retain like 80% of their roster, they're an instant playoff contender.
They need
Mark
also
my
to
words.
get the right. They need the right quarterback as well. I will say.
Yeah.
Look, they have Will Howard on the bench, bro. Like he's a young, skillful quarterback that, if he gets the right coaching staff to develop him, may have a shot at being a number one quarterback on the team.
Which Arthur Smith is
I just don't know. I don't know who. Here's the problem is I don't know who we're gonna sign that's gonna be better than Will Howard.
Yeah.
Because there is no one. Like, what is it? Kirk Cousins, Tua is gonna be on the market. That's a no from me.
Well,
Who else is there?
I mean,
You can't.
and
Yeah.
I hate to say this, as a Falcons fan who watched Kirk Cousins the last couple of games with Atlanta, that might not be a downgrade. I mean, I would say
Possibly.
he's
I mean, I'm
about
not
as
against-
consistent as Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not against pursuing any veteran quarterback. It's just I don't necessarily know how much better it can get beside
Let him
a
struggle.
young Will Howard who's probably still
Thank you,
learning,
Katie.
but definitely will show some
Let him struggle.
oh boy.
Yeah.
Will Howard can show some signs of growth and development
Yeah.
if they choose to start him. I know a lot of Pittsburgh fans who will gladly take the growing pains of a rookie quarterback
Yep.
over another washed veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat with the Falcons right now. It sucks that Penix got injured because, regardless, I didn't think they were going to make playoffs. Granted, I thought the Buccaneers were going to make playoffs over the Panthers, but I mean, I knew the Falcons weren't going to make it. I just wished Penix had more time to develop as an NFL starting QB instead of getting injured and having to switch to Kirk Cousins. So, anyway, moving on to the main ticket event, as there is an Eagles fan here and an honorary 49ers fan, as I grew up as a 49ers fan before I jumped ship to the Falcons. My dad is in chat, and he is a hardcore 49ers fan. He made a comment when we were talking about the Steelers and Arthur Smith with tight ends. He said, let me pull up the text. The Niners use their tight ends for blocking all the time to great success. And I think there is, not to jump back on the Steelers game, I think there is a bit of truth to that. I think there's a level of using your tight ends for an equal combination of blocking and receiving, which George Kittle was the linchpin. Now he's out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Pittsburgh lost their biggest blocking tight end, too, to a fractured arm against, I believe it was the Browns. So, I agree with that statement where yes, Pittsburgh has the potential to have a bunch of tight ends that are just completely capable of dominating on the offensive line alongside the linemen, but it still depends on the scheme that they're running with these play calls. Like if you're gonna have Jonnu Smith going against like a top 5, defensive end like Miles,
Miles Garrett. That's what I was gonna say.
Whoever the heck the Texans have, I don't remember their names because I got pissed off at seeing them sack the quarterback 17 times.
Will Anderson, big one.
Will Anderson. There we go. Hey, good game, Will Anderson. I'm glad you got your buddy a big man fumble recovery touchdown, but tight ends are great if you utilize them properly. Art Smith, absolute garbage at utilizing them properly.
My thing, and I risk upsetting my father with this statement. My thing with having tight ends as a blocker is that is all well and good. However, when you have a running back like CMC himself, you could put Flat Stanley in as a tight end and blocking. And it'll still be like if you put a twig in front of whoever is about to tackle CMC that just slows him down a fraction of a second, CMC will be able to get away and or bowl through that defender. So yes, utilizing tight ends as blockers is great and all. if you had any running back other than like a top 5 running back, I don't think it would have been as effective. And I risk upsetting my dad saying that until CMC gets hurt. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, dude, the Niners keep sacrificing players. I swear to God, they're sacrificing players to the blood god to keep CMC alive.
They might be, actually. They might be.
Oh my lord! Oh, Dad just texted me. Hang on.
I'll speak a little bit about this game as an Eagles fan. Obviously was upset in the moment.
You're not wrong. Okay.
I'm gonna be so honest. I'm so glad we lost. I'm
really?
So glad
oh, because it got rid of Patullo.
Because we got rid. Like, if we win this game, who says that we get rid of Kevin Patullo and then next year's a rinse and repeat? It's a wasted year. So, like, we now have the opportunity to bring someone in who's going to install a really good offense. But regardless, I'm not going to talk about the Eagles' future yet. I want to talk about the game. Abysmal offense. I mean, this was a classic example of Kyle Shanahan, absolute masterpiece. Like,
thank you.
Like, he should win Coach of the Year. He won't, but he should. He was working with backups like all year. All of his star players injured, and he what is he? He's 13-5 now. I mean, come on. Like, how is he not Coach of the Year? He won, like, what was it, 4 games with Mac Jones?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
He made Mac Jones look like a top 5 QB for a while there. To the point where, Andrew, Santoro, you and I were questioning whether or not you leave Mac Jones in until Brock Purdy is fully healthy. Like, even for a couple of extra games.
They did.
Which is
basically what
you have a coach that is arguably, I mean, if Kyle Shanahan was in charge of the Falcons, and I know I keep bringing them up, I'm so sorry, but they're not in playoffs, so I have to bring them in somehow.
Not relevant, bro. Come on, let's go.
If Kyle Shanahan was in charge of the Falcons, that division would have been won 2 weeks before the regular season was over. Kyle Shanahan is the best coach that I have seen in years. And that's including when I was a Niners fan and when I became a Falcons fan in 2016. I think if the Niners are fully healthy under Kyle Shanahan, that is the best team in the NFL. However,
it's a big if.
Well, yeah, if Max Verstappen's famous quote, "If my mom had balls, she'd be my dad," right? Classic. So I think, the Eagles, they had some issues. They had some issues. However,
he did say that.
And had male parts, she'd be my uncle.
The Eagles just lost to a team where 90% of their roster is on a hospital spreadsheet, right? Like, and I understand that the Niners are a great team. I think I just killed Andrew Harak. The Niners are a great team, even with their backups, because of Kyle Shanahan. Brock Purdy will always be, out of the MVP conversation, even though I think, despite playing with mostly backups, he should be in the playoff or in the MVP conversation. I would like to point out just a couple of things. So obviously Warner and Bosa and Kittle are out for the rest of playoffs. However, Gifford and Winters, which are the original backups for linebacker after Fred Warner was injured, now they're on their third string linebackers, are questionable and or bound to return for the Seattle game. And here's the big one.
Sam Darnold questionable, right?
Yep, Sam Darnold is questionable. And here's an even bigger one than that. Ricky Pearsall might be back on the Niners receiving roster for the Seattle game. And Seattle is not close to the top 10 in passing defense. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, 49ers are a live dog this weekend for sure. They're going to play aggressive. They feel like they're playing with house money at this point. I feel like Seattle could come out tense. I mean, I don't want to look to that game just yet, but it's not, 49ers +7 I feel like is a really solid bet. I mean, this is a division game. Come on. The Niners I would say the Niners have the better coach. Shanahan's a genius. But we'll see how that plays out. But what I will say, though, is Purdy, not that he played a bad game.
No, but it was average.
It's not like he played a great game. Shout out to Jawan Jennings for a perfect passer rating, by the way.
Real quick. My
Look at
dad.
the Niners rushing yards though. Barely
Yeah.
had anything.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing. You have a player like Christian freaking McCaffrey in your
Well, the
running
Eagles were
game.
stopping the run.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Eagles were stopping the run all game,
So here's the thing. Here, my dad just sent me 4 texts, and I have to read them. Oh, he's about to send a 5th. My dad has sent, Warner will be back for the NFC Championship. Dad, that is if they make the NFC Championship, because Seattle is no slouch. He said Sam Darnold being questionable is just a ploy. He will play.
Yeah, no, he's gonna play.
Oh,
but-
yeah, absolutely. Well, that's why I think Pearsall might play, too. I think all 3 of the 2 backup linebackers and Pearsall, I think, will play. If not, I still think the Niners are okay. However, he said...
I don't think Pearsall's going to do much, to be honest with you. I don't think that...
I would disagree with that.
I don't think that's as big of an asset as we're making it out to be.
You know what, though? I disagree, and the only reason being was because Ayuk was a great asset to Brock Purdy with the limited running game that they had against the Eagles' rushing defense. Their backup receivers didn't really make a name for themselves. Pearsall was golden in every game he played. Now, he said...
Was he? I mean, he's got 0 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, but he was
only got
injured for,
500
what,
yards.
80% of the season? I think 500
he
yards
doesn't
for
have a
only
14
playing like
he
4
doesn't
or
have a
5 games is
14
pretty good.
He does have a 14-yard average reception rate, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I see the production. I want to see production with touchdown production, like not just yards.
Oh,
Yards are great, but unless you finish with touchdowns, and I'm not saying that you have to have touchdowns to be a good receiver, but to mean something to your offense, you got to do more than just to get yards, in my mind.
here's the
And he
other
only-
big...
He only has 36 receptions. That's not even that great either, to be honest with you.
No,
I know he
but
was injured, but
the
how many games did he play?
The Niners are not a team where they look at touchdowns as a stat. The Niners are a team where as long as they drive down the field, someone is getting a touchdown. So even if Pearsall wasn't involved in getting the touchdown, if he got them the 20, 15-yard gains, that's all that matters to Kyle Shanahan.
Sure.
And here's another
I
thing.
can see that being truthful.
Shanahan is 4-0 against Seattle in the playoffs, no matter who his quarterback is, no matter who his receiving
And
core
here's
is,
the
no
thing.
matter who his running back core is.
Playoff Sam
Thank you, Dad.
Darnold is a certified choker.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was saying.
I could see the Seahawks flopping.
I said that
really
last
could.
week. I said you could put the Bengals receiving core, you could put CMC and Bijan Robinson as Darnold's running backs. You could put the best O-line in the league, George Kittle as his tight end. Sam Darnold would
Darnold
find
sees
a way
ghosts.
to put up only 10 points.
He sees ghosts.
Exactly.
He's just Darnold. I could see Darnold throwing 3 or 4 interceptions this weekend. It's just he does that
Yep.
quite often. Actually, it's kind of disturbing.
I predict
but
the
if-
Niners to win this game. Well, I don't want to say that because every time I predict them to win, they lose.
If we take a look at these stats here, here's my biggest issue with the Eagles, and here is why I'm so glad that we lost this game, because this is clearly an offensive issue.
Yeah.
Look at the rush. I mean, Saquon Barkley ran for 120 yards.
Yep.
Look at the time of possession. I mean, the Eagles controlled most of the game until late in the third quarter / early fourth quarter. The third down percentage killed the Eagles.
Yep.
Again, similar to what you were saying, Andrew, about the Steelers. The Eagles call these stupid, swing routes to the running back or like a halfback draw on like 3rd and 15. And, that's not going to get you the first down,
They seem to have the same thing, the same mindset of let's just rely on our players to make the plays. Let's not scheme people over or scheme a play that's going to beat the defense.
That was the problem with Kevin Patullo.
There's no innovative design there.
No.
It's literally the identical problem.
On the final play of it was 4th and 11, he runs 4 verticals.
Right?
4 verticals,
up better on Madden.
verticals with an in route. That's all it was.
I would have drawn up a better play on Madden.
If you
Like,
run
it's
tight end
ridiculous.
drag, receiver slant, that's a first down all day, every day against a very weak linebacker based defense.
Yeah, like what happened? Like run Devontae Smith on an in route, Dallas Goedert on an in route and AJ on a slant or whatever, one of them's going to be open if they're crossing the field. Simple crossing.
All right. Time out. Let's be honest.
My thing is you're gonna throw that pass, right? As Jalen Hurts looking at this play, okay, you got streaks and go routes, right? And then you got that in cut by Goddard. Okay, like the game plan for the Eagles was clearly to utilize Dallas Goedert.
Yes.
He scored 2 of their touchdowns, right?
Yeah, he was a big
At
part of the
some
offense.
point, if I'm the Niners, I'm 100% taking away Dallas Goedert on every single play.
Yeah.
He wasn't throwing it to 11 because he had bricks for hands.
Take a look at Dallas. Let's take a look at Dallas Goedert's stats. I mean,
Well,
4 receptions, 33, had a touchdown.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You've got Dallas Goedert who can utilize the third string linebackers that are in the middle of the field for the 49ers.
It doesn't. Your point doesn't matter though, because when that play happened, right? That's the potential last play of the game, and you know that they're only utilizing Dallas Goedert in key moments like that.
And in the red zone.
Yeah.
Quadruple covering Dallas Goedert every single time.
Yeah.
Because
you can leave A.J. Brown wide open.
Yeah, he wouldn't catch it. Not that game, at least.
You could give him a comically large net. He wouldn't catch it.
You run that play, you know as a defense that they are not touching the go routes.
No.
35 yards out. They're going to be throwing that in cut, whatever it is, a slant, a true in cut, or just
it was basically like an inside seam route, like a tight end seam route. Yeah.
It was almost a post, really, but he settled he tried to settle between the zone, and then they gunned it to him, and it was quadruple covered. It's like,
because once the safety,
what a terrible decision by Hurts on his part, but still.
But
still, was probably the route.
I'm going to defend Hurts here. Where else was he supposed to go? Everything else was a go route.
Exactly. He couldn't go anywhere else. It was the only logical route to throw to on that play was the in cut, because it was the only creative route on the the schematic of the play.
Once the safeties saw.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, once safeties saw this
play to defend, man.
I bet the safeties shouted "Verts, or goes," because come on, you just see them, and I'm sorry, it's such a waste of a season when we have all these playmakers and the defense yet again was elite. I mean, the Niners rushing offense was non-existent basically this game, and yet you allow, I'm not mad at the Eagles defense. Did they give up some big plays? Sure. But the Eagles offense had to be better.
Every defense gives up big plays.
Eagles
you can't blame the defense when the opposite offense is being extra creative at every moment they have.
The defense, we picked the ball off twice. That should be enough. We won the turnover battle by 2.
Yeah.
And we still lost, and we had more rushing yards, and we dominated time of possession, and we lost the game. Why? Because Kevin Patullo is way too predictable.
That's exactly it. And Santoro and I, you've talked about this before about Jalen Hurts being held back by his coaching. When you have a team that picks off the offense of the other team twice, your defense is not bad. When you have an offense that is so predictable that a hospital roster can win the game, your offensive coordinator, practice squad. You're going up against a practice squad defense and you lose. I think, Santoro, you're exactly right. It's kind of a blessing in disguise that the Eagles lost this game, because we've talked about Jalen Hurts' stats. He is an amazing quarterback. Patullo was holding him back this whole time.
Timeout. The people blaming Jalen Hurts right now. Okay, hold on. Can we talk about though how in the postseason he has played his best games, minus this weekend?
Yes. Do not get me started on Jalen Hurts.
Did you watch him outplay Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls? Because that's what happened.
I watched him lose one of those Super Bowls.
Well, yeah.
I watched him fumble the first one away because he tried to scramble and didn't hold the ball.
Okay.
Too long, got sacked, strip sacked, fumbled.
You can't deny though his postseason success.
Yeah, look at the team he has around.
I'm going to take a piss while you guys fight about this. I will be right back. I got to pee.
this is the prime example.
I don't
of if you
think
take
that
the
Jalen
offense-
Hurts is a bad quarterback. I think that he is a talented enough quarterback so where the Eagles can utilize his skill set to win games. Do I think that Jalen Hurts is going to single-handedly win the Eagles games? Heck no.
No.
Because he just doesn't have the mental ability to do that. He's not like a Tom Brady or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. He might have the athleticism to make a play or two, but if he doesn't have the offense around him, he's not doing what he's been doing. I'm just saying that right now.
I would agree with that, but this was not a Jalen Hurts issue. This was an offensive coordinator issue, and I stand by that because you have Kellen Moore last year, who is an amazing offensive play caller, and he's designing all this creative stuff, and Hurts is finding guys that are wide open. And you're right, if they're wide open, as the QB, you got to hit them. But
that's the problem, though. That's the problem is he's only able to find guys that are wide open. Like, I have yet to see really a performance where Jalen Hurts is being that field general quarterback, dictating where the ball is thrown and throwing guys open to create plays.
There was only one time this season that I saw it, and I can pinpoint the game. It was like week 5 or 6. We played the Minnesota Vikings, and he scrambles out, and he's doing this. He's basically playmaking, telling AJ to run down the field. It was a 4th down, and he throws it deep, and AJ, he was wide open. But that's him rolling out, making the play.
But that's not even what I mean, though. I'm talking like
I know you're talking like tight window throws and stuff. I know what you're
talking. He does not make those throws that you want to see an elite level quarterback make. Like, he is not fitting a ball into a tight. And you can even take that throw to Goddard into consideration because he hit Goddard with the ball. But I feel like even during that play, he probably had a window there to throw it, and he just hesitated until it was too late, and then he just threw it into triple coverage. Like, he does not make those Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen like throws. It's just not happening, But he's a good enough quarterback. He's just not gonna put the team on his back and make plays. That's all I'm saying.
But he's smart enough to not take risks. But like he doesn't throw interceptions. He just doesn't do it.
There's times though where you have to do that, and you have to show that you can make that ball fit perfectly where it needs to go.
So real quick, you talked about
Jalen Hurts a top 10 quarterback.
What's that?
Is he a top 10 quarterback? I think
top
so.
10?
I think if he makes top 10
quarterback list,
come on.
I think
personally,
if he makes top 10, it's only because teams like Seattle has crazy. Sam Darnold.
Here's crazy.
Real
quick.
We're
talking about strictly this year. No, there's no way he's top 10. But
real quick,
in general, potentially, maybe. I don't know.
So my dad made the comment, and I do agree with him to some extent. I know I texted the word agreed, but that's because I have to get back to my day job. So my dad made the comment that when Jalen Hurts has any sort of pass rush against him, he's not good. And
he rolls out right away.
I agree with that to an extent. I think if you look at players like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Hiraki, you said this, so I'm not going to take credit for this, don't worry. I think if you look at the elite quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, minus this year, and Josh Allen, when that pass rush hits, I don't know if it's adrenaline or what, they're able to make the play no matter what. When a pass rush hits Jalen Hurts, it's 50-50 on whether or not a receiver is going to get the ball. And that whether or not that's because he throws it away, he just runs it out of bounds, or if he throws completely in the wrong direction or out of reach of the receiver.
I need to interject here. Everybody says the same thing about Justin Herbert too. But if I asked you, is Justin Herbert a top 10 QB, you'd probably say yes.
I would disagree.
I'd say yes.
I don't think Herbert's is a top 10 QB. Like, I don't either. I'm a die-hard Falcons fan. However, I wouldn't put Cousins or Penix even in the top 16. I'm used to be a Niners fan. I would put Purdy in the top 10. He may be 9 or 10, but I don't know if I can compare. Like, Jalen Hurts thrives when he's against a team with a bad defense and his offensive weapons are clicking. I don't know if I'd put him with someone like Brock Purdy, who can work with a practice squad and still get points.
Well, Scott, I don't give Brock Purdy that much credit either because you've got Shanahan over there.
Okay,
and
yeah.
Kubiak for their OC.
It's not Purdy.
You know what though?
It's not Brock Purdy.
If you put Shanahan in the Falcons, I think they win their division, but I don't think they win a playoff game because of their quarterback situation. I think you need to have, like, yes, the Niners have arguably the best coach in the NFL right now. I don't think Brock Purdy is any less than 10th in terms of just situational awareness. Like, his pure decision making is incredible.
When I look at elite quarterback play, like, we're spoiled in our generation, right? Anyone who's watched from the year like 1998 and on, basically, right? We've had like Peyton Manning playing, we've had Tom Brady, we've had Drew Brees, right? And I'm even gonna throw my guy Big Ben in there because, like, I'm sorry, but if you can't consider Big Ben elite, then you just don't know football.
I think he's elite.
I may be biased on that, but Big Ben transformed that Steelers team in the last 2 decades. But even without having to say that, like, that's not even the point. The point is we've been spoiled in our generation of watching football with such elite quarterback talent. Like, all those guys are first ballot Hall of Famers whenever they get ready to go in. Like, you look at the quarterbacks of today, even Mahomes and even Josh Allen, they just don't fit that elite persona the way those guys even did. And so, like, I have a hard time with any of these quarterbacks that we talk about in the modern day era being elite, because I think back about watching Tom Brady winning 7 Super Bowls.
You wouldn't even say that Mahomes is elite. I think he's elite.
Because, well, like, okay, in terms of recency bias, he is the most elite out of the quarterbacks right now. But then you look at a year like this year where he's the same way. He wasn't able to win games purely based off of his own skill and talent and the ability to read defenses and produce even when it was difficult. Like, that's something that you would never envision Tom Brady doing, is losing a game where he just failed to be able to play football at certain points. You know, he always hit his guy. He played with Walmart employees, bro. Tom Brady. Like,
yeah. But
there
you
are two.
Go ahead, Santoro.
I was just gonna say there are only 2 quarterbacks that I would say are elite right now, and that's Mahomes and Allen. That's it. Those are the only 2 right now.
No Joe Burrow. You don't put Joe Burrow in there.
I think
that's tough.
Here's my issue. I think he is elite because he's also dealing with Walmart employees on his defense. He was putting 30+ points a game up. He was putting 30+ points a game every single game, or at least like 90% of the games he played for 3 years in a row. And his defense was allowing 30+ points a game. Now, back to the original thing that I wanted to say. You made the comment about, you know, people like Tom Brady playing with Walmart employees on the offense. If you look at stats, defenses in the past 10 years alone have gotten infinitely better than when they were even in the early 2010s. I look at teams like Cleveland.
I severely disagree with that.
Because of regulations. I'm not saying based off of.
No way.
I'm not saying
defenses are better significantly now.
I'm not saying based off of talent. I'm not saying based off of talent in any way.
I'm not looking even based off of talent.
Well, just listen. I'm looking at rule changes. Other than tackle regulations that have been put on the defenses recently, look at the amount of rules in the past decade alone that have been added to the way offenses can play their games. The way running backs can do certain things, the way receivers can run certain routes, and the way quarterbacks can throw the ball in certain directions or not. I think, in terms of talent, the defenses of yesteryear were infinitely better. with the new regulations, I think the defenses this year have it a lot easier than defenses back then did. So I'm not saying that the defenses back then were bad. I think they were better than this year. I think this year defenses have it easier in terms of what they can and can't do and what the offense can and can't do. That's why I think we can't claim a quarterback as elite. That's the unfortunate thing, is because of the way flags and rules work nowadays, we cannot say Josh Allen is an elite QB because, yeah, he can have Walmart employees around him, but if he gets flicked in the nose or flicked in the shoulder pads, the defense gets a flag for 50 yards. Like, there's so many things going against defenses in this day and age that we cannot call a defense elite without talking about quarterbacks. And that is the unfortunate realization of this day and age. I think I absolutely agree with you, Andrew Harrock. We are spoiled in this generation. However, I think it's in the opposite way of your suggesting.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, you saved yourself from some of your comments about previous defenses versus now, but
Dad, I can't say that on stream.
So I'm just gonna close out this game here. So outlook on the Eagles' future is incredibly bright. Because none of these playmakers are going away.
Yeah, agreed.
And new offensive coordinator.
You call him a playmaker?
We're gonna have to eat a lot of cash.
Yeah, what plays did he
get rid of him? So I don't think we're gonna get rid of him. Top candidates for OC are Brian Daboll, Mike McDaniels, and Cliff Kingsbury. Any one of those three, I would be happy with.
Brian Daboll would be incredible.
Well, he worked with Jay.
He's already worked with him too in college.
So that would be good. Any one of those three, I would be more than happy with. It would be way more competent than what we've seen this weekend. So again, I'm okay with the Eagles losing because now we know that next year is going to produce better offensive results.
And real quick, to tie in the point that I was making earlier, Andrew Harrock, I will say with 100% certainty and 100% confidence, if you pin the Legion of Boom against any offense in the NFL this year, they would destroy the offense. I'm not saying that the defenses were worse. I'm just saying that it's very difficult to do anything on offense and on defense nowadays. I'm not saying that the rule changes
more strict on DPI now.
Exactly. DPI, roughing the passer, so any sort of roughing or unsportsmanlike conduct. Even with the offense, if you get a touchdown, that's a game-winning touchdown for the playoffs, and you make a bow and arrow action, you're getting flagged and the touchdown's being taken away. The rules nowadays make it impossible for any team to play pure football.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, I've noticed even this year, if we want to talk about offensive fouls, I'm glad that they're putting an emphasis on some offensive concepts that should be illegal. And I'm not even getting to the tush push because I'm a fan of the tush push. I don't think it should be banned.
No.
But you talk about that, and you also talk about the defensive penalties for utilizing leverage. So how is it legal for the tush push to happen, but then the defense can't use leverage?
Exactly.
In the same way, the offenses nowadays get flagged for pick plays, which that was never really illegal in days of the past.
Right.
So that's a good thing. That's a good thing I've seen them kind of stopping is the pick plays that they're deeming pass interference. Now there's some nuances within the pass interference rules that they probably should clarify to take away pick plays indefinitely. Because I'm a firm believer of people have up to 5 yards to make contact, no matter what the contact is. That's just that's the letter of the law. You have up to 5 yards to make contact with your defensive opponent or offensive opponent, and then it can't be flagged if it's within that. But if they're going to start flagging things like pick plays, or I don't even know, what else they've been flagging the
name a play. There's been a flag.
Celebrations, but the celebrations, I don't even know if they really dictate the game that much. It's just a personal foul after the play. So I think you might be wrong on that. They wouldn't even take the touchdown away. They would just penalize your extra point or penalize your kickoff. But nonetheless, they are making it more difficult for offenses to abuse certain concepts, which is nice to see because it's wholly been an offensive powerhouse of a rule set that they've been officiating with. So it's nice to see. I hope that it does even out eventually, so where we can get back to those football where we had people like Brian Dawkins and Ed Reed and Palomalu and linebackers of the same variety, hard hitting, no inches, no blades of grass given, no matter what the play was. Like, they're just not allowed to do that anymore, and that's cool, but limit the offenses and what they can do legally, So hopefully it evens itself out with the rules in the next, 5 years or so.
We can hope.
So Ethan, can you update everyone, please, on what our records are going into the divisional round? We're gonna do our preseason picks for the 2 games tomorrow, and then I think after that we're good to wrap up.
So, real quick, in terms of the last games, Andrew Harak and I both went 2-4 because we got the Rams and the Bills correct. If I'm recalling, we predicted the Eagles, we predicted the Packers, we predicted the Steelers, and we predicted the Chargers. Santoro is 1-5. The only game he got correct was the Rams-Panthers game, which, surprisingly enough, we were all very close to losing that.
Yes.
Props to the Panthers. I don't like that they're in the division that my team is in.
I will say a very unpredictable round.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of surprises this round.
Good.
I feel like that's good for the NFL. I mean, we've got some new blood.
I would also say that these next 4 games that we're about to predict are equally, if not more, difficult to predict.
Well, we're going to do the 2 games for tonight, and then we'll be back Sunday morning at 11 a.m. So if you're here,
Sunday at 11.
Sunday at 11, we'll go over the 2 games tomorrow, and we'll make our 2 picks for the Sunday games. But let's go ahead and start with the game at 4:30 tomorrow. That is the Broncos hosting the Bills. Broncos coming off the bye week. The Bills are severely injured both on the offense and defensive side of the ball. Did you know? I had to look at this today. The Bills only have 3 active wide receivers that are not injured.
Yep.
They have 3 wide receivers on their roster right now. So Josh Allen will need to be Superman and more for them to have a chance to win. It's in Denver. And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go right into my pick. The Denver Broncos lead the league in sacks this year. And so Josh Allen may not have as much time. And I know he likes to scramble and play make, but that Denver defense at home, I know I don't like Denver's offense that much, but my pick has to be Denver here at home.
Yeah,
for those reasons.
I think I'm in the same boat, even not looking at the injuries. I know I was the biggest supporter of calling the Patriots and the Broncos frauds. However, Patriots had the easiest schedule in terms of win percentages. Broncos are like 4th or 5th easiest. The Bills, I mean, even without injuries, I think Josh Allen is their only playmaker, whereas the Broncos have quite a few. They did get the number 1 seed in the AFC for a reason. They're in Denver. I see Josh Allen being Superman.
They have the better coach.
Yeah.
Sean Payton's the better coach, in my opinion.
I see Josh Allen being Superman and keeping it close, but I do see the Broncos winning by, maybe a 2-score game. I think that's my pick.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Again, because we've called the Broncos a bunch of frauds for the past how many weeks? You're kind of right. They got the 1st seed for a reason, but that reason is having an easy schedule, and that reason is having the most 1-score game or 1-score wins in the year this year. If the Bills were 100% healthy, I think I think this would be a lock for the Bills.
Yeah.
I would agree.
But I think I'm also going to take the Broncos here just because they are playing at home.
Yep.
It is a decently difficult place to play because of being up so high in the altitude variety. The Bills are used to cold weather, but it is difficult to play in the mile high atmosphere there. And also the Broncos are on a weaker rest. Like, there's just something to be said about the bye week in the NFL that's better than the bye week of any other sport. You truly do get an advantage here when you have one less week to hurt your body. You know? So I think I'll go with the Broncos. Unfortunately, as much as I don't want to.
Katie also says Broncos.
Yeah, I don't think this is Josh Allen's year to play Superman in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So all three of us agree on Broncos.
Yes.
So we've only disagreed on one pick so far this entire postseason. Moving on to the final game tomorrow night. This is the last game we'll talk about for the night. The Seahawks host the 49ers. I will not start with this one because I started with the Broncos game. So
what does your dad say, Ethan?
My dad logged off. He did not tell me his prediction because when you have the last name of Tucker, you are notoriously unlucky in terms of teams that you pick. For example, the Falcons went 8-9. I watched only one of their wins. The other 7 games I watched of their season, they lost. I watched the Niners game this past week up until halftime, and if you recall, they were losing to the Eagles at halftime. As soon as I turned it off, they started winning. The Falcons have done that dozens of times. I've only watched one game where the Falcons have won. Out of all 17 games this year that I have turned on and kept on, they've only won one of them. So I am notoriously unlucky when it comes to watching a team. So I don't watch teams that I hope to make playoffs. However, if I am being honest, I have to go with the non-injury ridden, clearly dominant team, Seattle Seahawks. They beat them recently, and yes, the Niners are going to get some players back, but they lost Kittle. I do not think they can win in Seattle with the amount of injuries they have. So I will be taking the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and mostly because of the injury front. I think losing Kittle for the season is not only like a physical blow to the roster, but a morale blow.
Yes,
like there's a lot of emotions that go with injuries like that to big players, and I certainly don't think that they're just gonna walk into Seattle and have an easy time of it. You know, Seattle again. Just like the Broncos, they're in the first seed for a reason. Now they're not as fluky as the Broncos, obviously, but
no, they're much more legit than Denver. I feel.
Yeah,
exactly.
Agreed.
You know,
the only concern I have with Seattle is
Darnold will get.
Exactly.
Who knows what Sam Darnold will get? But if he's changed his ways in the playoffs and he's got a better supporting cast around him that will maximize his talent, I think they'll kind of not have an easy day with the Niners, but I think they will overcome the challenge of an injury-ridden Niners team.
I think Sam Darnold is the Seahawks' only weakness, whereas the Niners, if they were fully healthy, I'd say they have no weaknesses. But they have their best edge rusher is out, their best tight end is out, another one of their defensive linemen is out in Mikael Williams. They have their tight end, their best linebacker is out. I think you put any one of those players back in, it becomes a closer game, and to the point where I would pick the Niners. They have too many injuries that I don't think Sam Darnold is a big enough weakness for the Niners to overcome. No matter who their coach is.
I this is such bad content because we all agree with each other for these stupid picks. No, but I have to pick Seattle too, and here's why. Seattle's rushing attack is insane. They have a two-headed monster with Kenny Walker and Zach Charbonnet.
Yep.
Those two guys are insane out of the backfield. No matter who's there, it's fresh legs all the time. JSN, arguably, the best receiver in the NFL this year. He led in receiving yards. They're going to use him. They're going to use Cooper Kupp, who has a ton of postseason experience.
Yep.
I just think the Seattle Seahawks have too many weapons on both sides of the ball. They had the bye week. They're completely healthy. They're at home. I know Sam Darnold's questionable, but here's the thing. Sam Darnold doesn't have to be Superman like Josh Allen does. If he plays a mistake-free game, like if he throws, I'll give it to him. If he throws one pick, I still think they win the game.
Oh, I think if he throws 2 picks, they still win the game. You said it yourself. The Seahawks have an amazingly talented roster minus Darnold. The Niners have an amazingly talented roster when they're healthy, which they are not.
Now, if Sam Darnold comes out and plays a crazy good game, I'm going to have to start to trust him a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, this is my game to evaluate, okay, because we have not seen him play well in a postseason game in his career yet. So this is my time to say, okay, is he for real? Is he legit?
Yep.
If he comes out and plays a great game, then yeah, I would say, I mean, we have to start trusting him a little bit, you know? So yeah, I would also say Seahawks. So we're all taking the 1 seeds.
Yep.
Fresh off the rest, fresh off the bye.
Regardless of how easy the schedules were for one and or both of the teams, they are the 1 seed for a reason, and we can't ignore that.
Yeah, I mean, you play here, you get scheduled. You can't help that. But
Oh, I just now realized it's the 1 and 6 seed and the 2 and 5 seed on both. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. But yeah, so I mean, lots of good conversations tonight. But we will be back on Sunday morning at 11 a.m.
With
We're going to talk
recaps.
we'll recap the Broncos-Bills game. We'll recap the Seahawks-Niners game. Talk about the future outlooks of the losing teams like we did tonight. And then we will preview the other 2 games on Sunday. Funny enough, our records, I'm still going to be in last place no matter what. Because I think the same as you guys. I'm sure we will disagree, though, on these Sunday games are a little more interesting, I feel like.
I have a feeling we'll disagree on them.
I think we could, absolutely. But if you stuck with us for almost 2 hours, thank you. And please join us Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Lots of good content tonight. So other than that, I mean, I think we're good to go for the night. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
think so.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. Gridiron and Gridlock. Catch us Sunday morning at 11.
Yep. All right. See ya.
See you guys.
Chat, thank you for tuning in. As Santoro said, we will see you Sunday at 11. And please like and subscribe. I know you can't see my face right now, but it's all good.